we are entering one of the most exciting sections of Excel, which is Power Query. Power Query is probably being talked about for the first time for a number of the listeners and viewers. And let's briefly look at what Power Query is. If you go on the Data tab of Excel, there is a group of icons called Get and Transform Data. It has a few icons when you look at it, but inside it, there is a plethora of solutions to a number of our data problems. What does the Power Query do? When you come to Power Query, you can import data from multiple sources and you can do a lot of transformations and cleaning of this data. And Power Query is one of the useful tools for data extraction, for data acquisition, and data transformation and loading. And arguably, Power Query is world's #1 data laundry in any spreadsheet. Power Query is inbuilt in Excel, and it also useful when loading data into Power BI. There are a myriad of transformations that a person can do in Power Query, including splitting of columns, merging of columns, adding columns, including conditional columns, whereby you are adding a column that has contents that are being extracted from other existing columns. You can pivot data, you can transpose data, and also Power Query extracts data from hundreds of sources, including text. It can extract and load data from CSV file, from Excel, from SQL and other databases, from SharePoint, from Google BigQuery, and also you can extract data into Power Query from other queries. You can extract from Google Sheets and other sources. When data has been loaded into Power Query, cleaned and loaded, any future data updates can actually be automatically uploaded and consolidated upon refresh from the data sources. And when you clean your data, you can then load it as a table. If you want to view the data in a table, you can load it into a sheet, or you can load into pivot table, you can load it into a connection or an Excel data model, which then can be analyzed using what we shall look at as Power Pivot. So among the sources where Power Query can get data from, you can get data from a table, from a picture, from a worksheet, from a workbook, from CSV, and other formats. So Power Query consolidates data and expands the data holding capacity beyond the worksheet capacity of Excel. For those who have used Excel, Excel has about 1,040,000 rows. But Power Query can actually input millions and millions of rows in the back end of Excel. And one of the strongest cases for Power Query is its ability to track the processes through what we shall look at as applied steps, which you can edit and modify such that when you undertake a process in Power Query, only if you undertake a data modification transformation, if you would want to undo it, then you ought to modify it. You just go to applied steps and you are able to have it edited. Of course, Power Query has a user-friendly interface that is complemented by the M language, which is the mashup language that you can use to program in Power Query. Now, when you combine M language in Excel with DAX programming, then you stretch the abilities of Excel to unprecedented levels. And another magic with Power Query is that every time you reload connections, then you have data refresh, and then you can click on any connection and then be able to change the destination where the data is going to be loaded. So Power Query can be used to clean, to consolidate, to automate data, and you can do all of these on one single data set. And then we can now look at the examples of data modifications that can actually be done in Power Query before we do the actual opening of Power Query and then see how we can go about it.